Hi everyone and welcome to Channel Mum. My name's SJ and I'm a working mum and I've had two babies, and obviously both times I've had maternity leaves and then been faced with the challenge of going back to work and had to choose childcare, and it's slightly mind-boggling. You don't know kind of what to do, and it's the first time around. I've done it twice and wanted to share with you kind of the things that I've learnt along the way. So the options available really are three. So there's family, which I didn't have the option to do, but sort of professional childcare is nurseries, childminding, or hiring your own nanny who would come to your home. So the three options, and the pros and cons are kind of nursery was my first go-to choice. It was kind of what I expected to choose. But I went round way too late. I didn't realise that people went and chose nurseries when they were kind of already pregnant in my area. And there were loads of nurseries, maybe 5 or 6 big ones, just short walks from my house. And I decided I'd go and visit all of them. I would visit the ones that were way too pricey, that I could never afford, the little ones, and everything in between. And I really found that it was quite surprising. The bigger nurseries that I thought were very well established, that everyone raved about, I looked around and just didn't get a good vibe from them. And then I actually found a really small nursery, an independent one that I ended up really liking. You have to pay a deposit to get onto the waiting list to see if you get a place. And what you can do to get around that is go to all of their open mornings, because a lot of them have these open days on a Saturday, which is really nice because it means you can go as a whole family. And if you sign up on the open day, you don't have to pay the deposit. So do that, have a look around and trust your instincts. You will know as soon as you walk in somewhere, like if you're buying a house or anything, you'll have that gut instinct and just go with that. Even if people are telling you this is the best, or your favourite NCT friend's kids going there already, just do what makes you feel happy, because everyone feels differently about these things. We actually decided first baby to go with the childminder. So childminders are often mums themselves, they've got older children, they're looking to get some more income, and they've often got childcare backgrounds and take extra children into their own homes. And I'd never really considered this because I'd heard kind of derogatory things about them, like that childminders just spend their whole days in like Costa Coffee or taking your kid, whatever they're doing anyway, which really isn't the case. We had an amazing childminder. She was such a lovely, lovely mum. She'd worked in nurseries all her life, and she really shared the values that I had about childcare, which is brilliant. And she used to take Freddie on, he was still hanging out in the same playground that he used to go to when I was at home. She would take him on day trips and she would feed the ducks with him. And that was really nice, in the summer holidays when it was warm outside. He wasn't kind of just in a playroom, he was kind of out and about. And he really thrived and really loved it. And she helped me so much because she had all the experience that I didn't have. She was like a kind of mum guru big sister to me. And so I was like, okay, I need to potty train, don't know where to start. And she was like, okay, this is how I do it. And she was a real partner to me during those few years that Freddie was there. And then I had Finn and had an amazing maternity leave while Freddie was in nursery. And when it came to going back to work, I had two to contend with, and Freddie was already in school. And I just realised I really wanted them to be together as much as possible. I didn't like the idea of Finn being one nursery, Freddie doing after school club, and I'd have all the pressure on kind of picking them up and getting them places, and they would be exhausted. I just thought I need somebody who's in my house now so that I can kind of control it a bit more, and I know where they are when I'm off in the office. So we went about hiring a nanny. We used the website, childcare.co.uk, put an ad up, and I just said, this is us, this is what I can afford, these are my kids. And I did that super duper early. So I think we actually hired Kim, who's our nanny now, in the June, and she didn't start until the October, because she knew, the kids she was looking after is going to go on to school. And so they already know they're kind of moving on dates. It's not kind of a job for life being a nanny. They kind of know that they need to kind of find somebody. And she came around, and I asked them I looked on Google, picked some questions that I thought were really good. And one was kind of my key one, which I found really insightful, was what would you feed to a baby who's 12 months old? And some of the nannies were just kind of like, oh, well, I'd feed them what you would feed them, or they didn't really know how to answer. Whereas, that's kind of quite a telling thing, because it shows their experience of looking after kids. And once you've got a kid yourself, kind of the process and how they kind of, it's very different from month to month. So that was a good question. Also, what activities she would do. And she was really arts and crafty, which my boys are. I think that any nanny looking after them who didn't like arts and crafts would be bored stiff, because that's all they want to do. So she was a really good fit for us. I really warmed to her, and I was like, if I really warm to her, the boys are going to warm to her. And she came and did some settling in before I went back to work, so I didn't feel I was leaving them with somebody they didn't know. And I could ring her at any time, I could text her at any time, and it just it works for me at this stage. But when you're going back to work, the main thing is just to remember that childcare isn't just about them and them being happy, because unfortunately they're just really resilient and they get on with it and they're quite ready for it majority of the time. It's us mums who really need the support. So do what feels in your heart you're going to be happy with. Doesn't matter what anyone else says, not even your partner. It just has to be what you feel. I can cope with this. If they're there, then I'm going to be able to be okay and go with that option. So it is, in my opinion, the most difficult thing ever, and it's trying to make a rational decision when all you can think about is your emotions. So, yeah, it's tough, but you'll get through it. Make the best decision. Think about it. Take all the time in the world that you need to think about it. Don't leave it to the last minute, so it kind of feels like a ticking time bomb of catastrophe. And it will be okay, and it will seem like a distant memory once you're in a happy place. So I hope this has been slightly helpful for you mums deciding to go back to work, and have a lovely week. Take care. Bye.